How's it going, everyone? I'm going to do this dollar thing. Still coming down, had a nice little tiny bounce today. Not much going on though. Still working off of a double top. Came across the 34. So far it's making a higher low. So see if we can get a churn out of this. For the weekly so far. Below the 8, closing below the 8 on the weekly pretty drastically. We've got the cross now, so we got a longer term downtrend coming in. We got the higher low so far, but as the EMA 8 comes down and the 34 comes up, this is going to be in a price pinch for a little while. So I don't see anything going on as far as a turnaround. We'll see how the next week opens actually. But tiny bounce, making a higher low so far. This could break down very easily. We got support at this hammer. So support at 100 basically. So look for anything below 100 as it'll fall into the next range, down into 99. But after the interest rate hike, it pretty much got knocked back pretty hard. It's in a long-term pattern. We'll see if this upward trend line can hold first of next week. Looks like we've got some down action on the S&P. I got a previous low break. It's hanging on a thread on support. It broke below the gap here. So support line has been broken from the gap. It's got support down at 2371. But looks like right now a rejection off of that that push into resistance, making an opposing point. And now we got a downtrend line. We have 2 points down here, making an uptrend line. So now we got a pattern. Look for prices to come back into support, see if it'll hold. It looks bearish because it's below the gap, closed below the gap. Could certainly turn around on a dime, no doubt about it, but it's closing on its lows. Dow Jones, same thing. Still working off of the 2-bar pattern off the top. So now we got a pattern. So far rejected at resistance. Price is in between the 8 and the 34. That price pinch again. I'm still in the corner of opinion that this is a bearish retracement, and so far it's being rejected by resistance as the 8 is coming across, adding more resistance on the upside, making lower highs on the way down. And looked like the Nasdaq broke out, but then came all the way back in and still hasn't recovered outside. Closing a falling star today. Is that a falling star or is that an inverted hammer over support? We will soon find out. Tomorrow's open. This can go back and forth up here for a while, but pay attention to the reversal bars, as support and resistance is pretty good indicators on the candle, the bottom and the top. Now I'm thinking it's going to come back into support again, test the support lines, see if it'll break down. Could be a left shoulder, head, and then come down into a right shoulder scenario, head and shoulders top forming. That could be very well what's going on here. We'll have to wait and see. But right now, a falling star. Not perfect, but it has that trading action as it popped up and closed all the way in. Off the top. Falling stars are off the top. Inverted hammers are off the bottom. But is this an inverted hammer over support? That is the question. Let's see if the VIX popped up. Nice hammer on the VIX. So we'll keep a watch on this on the open. See if this will continue on its momentum as the bottom has been knocked out with that hammer. Today's close, nice, beautiful hammer actually. No wick, long wick on the bottom, no wick on the top. Nice green bullish hammer. Very well could be a bearish retracement back into resistance. But if this momentum is beautiful like that hammer, we're going to open up, get across resistance lines, and continue into the other side of the pattern and see what we can do there. But nice double bottom off this upward trend line. So keep a watch on that. Nice turnaround in the VIX. Shanghai looks like it got a breakout and then pulled all the way back in. Is that going to be the head fake, or is that a reversal? We'll see tomorrow as the open comes across, consolidates, or continues on the downside, making this a nice drastic whipsaw with a 2-bar pattern reversal. I'm thinking just that it came down into support, popped, came back into support, now it's going to keep going. That's the throwback outside of resistance. Could be a cup and handle off of that breakout. See how that works out. Ten-year looks like a rejection off the top of that pattern. Gap down into support, moving into previous lows or previous highs. It's got a couple lines of support on the way down. And it's a double top, so I'm going to have to go with bearish until it gets to the other side of the pattern, see if it'll hold support. But right now we got a double top. On the other hand, we have a triple bottom here, but the double top is taking force as it's coming on the way down, and it's closing the triple bottom price range. So I'm bearish on that. Or the Nikkei. Looks like it's having trouble getting over the top here too, as it came down through off a whipsaw, made a higher low, came back up, made a lower high, and so far came back down and support one more time, and kind of back and forth. See what happens. It needs to either break down or up as the trend line is in a pattern. Looks like a cup and handle off the top there. We'll see what happens. Little cup, little handle. Pretty good move off the support line, so I'm thinking it's bullish, but this thing's so volatile. I mean, look at all the gaps. Can't and then on the longer term chart, you can see it looks top heavy. So we'll have to see how it works. I got a flat top break coming in or a breakdown. And if it wastes too much time trying to consolidate and trying to get through, momentum will die and it'll just fall over. And it looks like it's coming to that point. Let's see, how did Crude do? Crude hit its first line of resistance. It's got to get over that first hump. Nice bounce off of support, but now it looks like a bearish retracement. Look for prices to continue, maybe make a double bottom here as it got rejected off the first line of resistance. Look for an opposing point so we can get a nice higher low, or a double bottom, or a breakdown. But first and foremost, it needs to get through resistance to kick in that momentum. Looks like I got rejection off the first line of resistance on crude. So look for some kind of opposing point coming in. Looks like coal, as we talk about the first line of resistance, coal has a nice, well, let's start over here. 2-bar pattern, cross the 8, then makes a double bottom hammer, gaps up and over the 13, and then gaps open and closes all the way in. So far that gap open, close all the way in hasn't recovered yet, but so far today we got a higher low, and it's on a tether on support, which is this hammer. So it looks like a good beginning to a turn on coal on the daily. And nothing much going on except for a double bottom on the weekly. So we'll see how that comes through. And we got previous lows coming in, 39 and 40. Look for previous high breaks into previous lows. Right where the 34 is. Steel. Steel daily got pummeled here, got retraced, lower high. So we got that lower high trend line going on. Came down into support, into resistance, making our trend line. Came back through support, bearish retrace, made a hammer. Gapped up, came back in. Looks like it's building. So far holding support on the upside. For steel, coming into the pinch. As price has to make a decision up or down sooner or later. As trend goes up, and then the lower highs come in. Pinch, 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 hint, pop. The daily closes inverted hammer over support as well. So keep that in mind. A reversal bar on today's close. Got a reversal bar here, up and over, and then an inverted hammer right over support. Gold. Pretty lackadaisical today, I believe. Not much going on. Let's just keep to the week. Tomorrow's the last day of trading. Let's concentrate on this weekly 2-bar pattern over support. It's closing previous candle above 50%. Awesome. Let's see if we can get maybe an encompassing what do you call it? Outside day. This needs to close above previous candle on the close of the week. See if we can get an outside day close on the 2-bar reversal that's already forming. Pretty nice. Left shoulder, right shoulder, and then the boom. Pretty nice boom so far. Let's break previous highs at 1260. So far came down into 1200. Now we're up above 1220. Now our support is the previous lows at 1220. Previous low. That spike low. So hold 1220. Right where that 8 is, we got plenty of support. 2-bar pattern, looks like momentum's kicking in. But like I said, today was pretty lackadaisical. Maybe get one more day, little outside day. This could hit resistance, come back in, be in this pattern for a while. But pretty excited about the future here as things have turned around for us. It's having a lot of work to get through resistance levels. but pretty healthy on that weekly. Still trying to get through. Got higher lows, little inverted hammer, little pop, inverted hammer, and then pop, boom, into resistance. And now we've got a lower high. Could be a churning back into support, so watch for that. I hope that doesn't happen before the end of the week, as that weekly 2-bar pattern is pretty awesome. Looks like a sideways action consolidation so far. It's closing below the 4-hour chart, below the 8. We need that 8 for support. So look for a turnover. Let's see. Looks like the hourly chart still hanging in there with higher lows. Got a reversal here, up and over, down into support, higher lows. Let's break that top trend line on the 60-minute with the higher lows coming in. Price is in a pinch. Let's get a boom out of this. Silver. Looks like a previous high break coming in on the 60-minute. Let's see how we're closing for the week. We could do a little bit better. Hopefully that 60-minute will churn into a boom above resistance for the end of the close tomorrow, making that weekly candle, closing 50% of the previous candle. This can get just a little bit tighter up. But we got the left shoulder and the right shoulder, so look for some kind of a blast off. Someone mentioned a head and shoulders top on silver, and I think I got through this before. I think Silver Doctors came out with the head and shoulders top. Well, first of all, head and shoulders tops are at tops, not at bottoms. This is a bottom. Second of all, that head and shoulders top is left shoulder, right shoulder, head. And then we had a breakdown. And then a recovery. The thing is about that, I think that people are trying to construe the left shoulder and the right shoulder. You don't get two shoulders on the right shoulder. We already had the breakdown. Now it's the recovery, and we're getting the whip back. That head and shoulders top already broke down, and now it's recovered. We're having a little trouble getting over that neckline, but once we recover here, I think it'll blow over. But that's the only head and shoulders I can see. This is not the right shoulder. That is the right shoulder. The right shoulder. We don't get to use this as the right shoulder, as this pattern is already complete. So there you go. It's not a head and shoulders top. For one, it's at the bottom of the pattern. Head and shoulders form at the tops of patterns. So just wanted to clear that up. I've been hearing a lot about it, head and shoulders top. And it's not at the top, it's at the bottom. So just keep that in mind. Copper. Anything can happen, by the way. I'm just saying, that's what I see. Copper's still trying to recover off that weekly downturn. And so far we got a V bottom into resistance. Look for some kind of opposing point. If it can get one more bust through and then recover over the 34, that would be awesome. But right now we're closing a lower high. Look for previous high breaks, as that can and looks like it's possible, because we got a inverted hammer over support, as that is a continuation of that inverted hammer. But right now we're closing a lower high. And I'm thinking that maybe this needs to turn over and have an opposing point, as trend line will be up. But hopefully, if luck is the draw, get a little punch through and then a consolidation into support as an opposing point, following a trend. So copper's back in it, I think, with a little bit more push. Get over previous highs. That'd be nice. And you got a 2-bar pattern here, down through resistance, or down through support, back into resistance. If we can get just a little bit more punch by the end of the week, I think that we'd get this copper to run with gold and silver this next week. That'd be awesome. Real quick, GDX, JNUG, and JNUG. So we got the right shoulders coming in. We got a little resistance coming through, a little rejection coming back into support. Little rejection coming back into support. Little rejection coming back into support. And JNUG. JNUG's holding support pretty well. It's just having a little tough time following that trend. We busted over, came back in, busted over, came back in. Now we're going to try to do this one more time, as we got a 2-bar pattern on the day, a 2-bar pattern on the daily close, or that 60-minute close. All of them have hit a resistance line and came back into support. So let's get a churn. No reversal bar yet on the daily. But we're still running off of that hammer. We got 2 hammers on JNUG. We got hammer here, 2-bar reversal there. We got a hammer here, and again, hammer here. Not a perfect hammer. Well, it's pretty close, right? Pretty darn close. Confirming a hammer on these bottoms for this week would be awesome for these miners. And then it's just a little punch through. Pretty nice higher lows. Left shoulder, right shoulder coming in. Let's get another push straight forward. And you can find those churns off of the 60-minute. Here's the punch, and then the stair step into support. I got a double bottom showing on GDX. I got a double bottom showing on GDXJ, Nugget, and JNUG, following all lock and step. I think since they're all lock and step, everything's raring to go. Everything's on the same wavelength, and they're all in the same, they're all joining the same party. I'm thinking blast off soon. Maybe not by tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. Fridays are low week trading days. But maybe Sunday night we'll have a surprise in the futures market. Bitcoin continues to have some problems, as it's now below previous highs. I got previous highs here. No, wait a minute. Oh yeah, we are. 1160 was previous highs. Here's our previous highs here. Here's the recent previous highs. The red line is the previous highs from a long, long time ago. Got a 3-bar pattern coming off of this top, busting back into the previous pattern. Is this the throwback of the large cup and handle I was mentioning earlier? Remember, I was in the contention that it was going to hit resistance and then kind of stair step like a handle. Is this the handle now coming in? We'll have to see and watch out. Pretty nice bounce off of this candle, but now it's continuing on down, holding support briefly, closing on its lows, down almost $86 today. So is this going to turn into a long, elongated handle as the cup and handle throwback can be up to 40%? So another way of looking at it is we got a whipsaw back into the previous pattern. And it's closing on its lows. So watch yourselves on Bitcoin. It's holding support. Let's see if we can find a churn. Got a double bottom on the 60-minute, an A-B bottom no less. So we had a bottom, peak bottom, came up into resistance, and then they pulled it back a little bit sharper. I got a nice doji that's not confirmed yet on the upside. I got some hammers working in here. Inverted hammers. I got a hammer over here. Looks like it's still working. Is it still working? I don't see anything working. But I got an AB bottom on the 60 minutes. Let's see if we can get a reversal out of this to punch through, making a double bottom. Cliff real quick, coming back into support on the 60-minute. So we had a pop, came back into support. AG, pop, coming back into support. Hopefully AG is going to hold the line. It's getting above 8 would be awesome. Hopefully we can hold this up as the 8's going to come across and then be pulled up if prices can stick. That's a huge 2-bar pattern, came into resistance, now it's just coming back into support. NIK is building for a bottom. Nice J curve on that, right? Popped over, came back into support, now it's doubling back. Breaking into previous lows would be a nice pop for the NIK. Could happen any minute. USLV, same. URA. Looks like we had a 2-bar reversal here, came back higher low, busted through, came into resistance, and now it's doubling back into support. URA needs to have an opposing point. This could double back and punch above 34 and consolidate. But the trend line needs to come back into support. Make an opposing point, carrying on into the upward trend. UEC busted into resistance, came back all the way back into support. So it's building. URE looks like a nice churn coming in. I got a double bottom here with a nice hammer going back into resistance. Look for breaks into previous lows as completing this W pattern could get a nice pop above. And it looks like resistance is going to be that emotional spot at 2 previous highs. Ivanhoe. Not much yet, but it's building to get across support. Get some support above the 34. Looks like a nice tight reverse head and shoulders. Break that neckline, could get a nice pop. Ivanhoe. That's about it, guys. Nothing to see here. Let's take a look and see. Gold. Let's see how we're doing on the short. Looks like it's coming into support on the 5-minute gold. Looking for a flat top break. coming in on the open. Boom. It's got a nice steady upcline. And then I'm in JNUG. Oh, nice 5-minute chart break after I didn't see that at the end of the day. Little bump. Looks like it came down, came into a double bottom, broke through, inverted hammer right there. That's the start. Broke that, off and running. Let's see if we can get a nice trend line break on the upside. Right there. Boom, come back into support. Keep her building. All right, well, that's it. I appreciate it, guys. Happy St. Paddy's Day. And be careful out there. There's a lot of amateurs that come out tonight. I'll see ya.